We all want a single application that can handle every part of our workday. But in 2026, the performance gap between these models is widening, and relying on one tool for every task often leads to the kind of errors that derail a professional project. We see this most clearly in travel planning. Independent testing this year shows 90% of AI-generated itineraries contain at least one major error, like confidently routing a traveler to a restaurant that closed 4 years ago. The market has settled on 3 main heavyweights. First, OpenAI's GPT 5.4, Anthropic's Claude Fable 5, and Google's Gemini 3.1 Pro. All 3 now boast massive memory capacities. They each feature a context window of 1 million tokens or more, which technically allows you to drop entire books into the prompt box for analysis. This diagram shows the reality of AI architecture today. The models divide across 3 main traits: deep reasoning, versatility, and native ecosystem integration. Notice the Venn diagram's center is completely empty. These traits rarely overlap due to architectural trade-offs. To get Claude's reasoning precision, you lose GPT's creative breadth. To get Gemini's ecosystem speed, you sacrifice the strict logic needed for complex code. Choosing an AI in 2026 means deciding which specific friction you are willing to live with. Trying to save $20 by forcing one AI to handle tasks it wasn't built for will eventually cost you more in manual fact-checking and heavy editing. For developers, technical writers, or researchers who spend their days digging into long documents, Anthropic's Claude Fable 5 is built for that level of focus. Claude operates on a specific architectural directive. It is strictly calibrated to refuse to answer rather than guess when it lacks verification. Looking at this chart of recent independent testing, Claude holds the lowest hallucination rate at roughly 4%, compared to GPT at 6% and Gemini at 9%. Feed it a 100-page PDF, and it sustains reasoning across the entire document, following exact multi-step instructions. The trade-off for that strict focus is a lack of connectivity. Claude lacks native image generation, no conversational voice mode, and no live web data. If you use it to check current flight prices or breaking news, you will hit a wall of refusals. For tasks where being factually wrong is expensive, Claude is the optimal choice. It just demands a text and code purist workflow. On the other hand, general business users or solopreneurs often prioritize output volume and feature breadth over granular precision. That is the core strength of ChatGPT with GPT 5.4. Its biggest advantage is processing raw numbers through its code interpreter, which allows the model to write and execute its own Python scripts in the background. You can upload a raw CSV export of your Google Ads performance, and without knowing how to program, generate code-backed charts that reveal anomalies and trends. It also carries a high level of conversational fluidity. If you need to brainstorm ideas out loud, GPT 5.4's voice mode provides a natural, interruptible flow. The cost of that versatility is a higher hallucination rate and a tendency to default to an overly enthusiastic, generic AI tone when drafting content. Your entire workflow is also trapped inside OpenAI's standalone interface. You will likely spend a noticeable amount of time copying and pasting text into your actual work documents. Think of ChatGPT as a Swiss Army knife for ideation and data. It will get you a fast first draft, but requires human editing for a professional final product. Then there is Gemini 3.1 Pro. This model is positioned for corporate environments and users whose entire workday is spent inside Google Workspace. Because Gemini sits natively inside Gmail, Google Docs, and Drive, you can summarize a spreadsheet or draft an email reply directly on the page. It also has an unmatched ability to pull real-time data. If you need today's weather forecast or the current opening hours of a local business, Gemini queries the live Google search index to get the answer. But the error rate is high. At 9%, it has the highest hallucination rate of the big 3, and it can suffer from structural drift, losing context over the course of long conversations. When it pulls live search results, it often trusts web sources that may be outdated, passing those inaccuracies directly into your documents. Gemini trades standalone reasoning precision for unbeatable execution speed, placing the answers exactly where your data already lives. All of these $20 subscriptions are built for everyday consumers. If you are a developer building software applications, the equation changes. Trying to force a consumer chat subscription to handle application development workloads will eventually stall your progress. You will likely hit strict message rate limits and waste time navigating a user interface instead of automating tasks. The solution is migrating to usage-based API gateways. These platforms allow developers to route prompts between Claude, GPT, and Gemini based on specific task needs. Building reliable tools requires trading the simplicity of a flat-fee subscription for scalable, production-grade infrastructure. For most of us, the choice comes down to a practical financial question: how to allocate a $20 to $40 monthly AI budget. Look at this decision tree. The framework starts by identifying the primary task that occupies the majority of your workday: workspace automation, heavy docs and code, or data and brainstorming. If you want a single subscription, follow the path for deep knowledge work. Choosing Claude Pro at $20 a month yields a high return on investment for precision tasks, and you can use the free tiers of ChatGPT or Gemini to fill the gaps. For those whose work spans multiple disciplines, combining Claude Pro and ChatGPT Plus into a $40 a month stack covers 95% of all business use cases by splitting the load between strict logic and broad versatility. Keep in mind that higher monthly overhead is only justified if AI is a core production tool that demonstrably saves you multiple hours per week. And regardless of which stack you build, never trust any model alone for fact-sensitive data without running an independent verification. Success in 2026 depends on matching an AI's architectural constraints to your daily operational friction.